My name is Pamela Bickett, and I've lived in East Hampton since 1991. What I do in East Hampton is I retired from being an architect about 3 or 4 years ago, and since I retired, I became more and more involved in the operation at the food pantry.
I'm Dahlia Asher Walsh, and I live in the Springs.
I'm Athena Asher Walsh, and I also live in the Springs.
We volunteer here every Wednesday. We pack the bags for the families and bring the bags out to their cars. The numbers definitely went up a lot.
We had to change the way we distributed food. We didn't want to close. And originally we gave people choice. They went around with us in a horseshoe-shaped table and selected what they wanted, produce as well as dry goods. We had to stop that altogether. We had to buy more tables so we could double up and have 6 feet of separation. Everybody had to be masked, and we only allowed one family in at a time. Even before the lockdown, people were getting laid off. We had tons of cars. We had cars lining Old Stone Highway. We had cars coming down Springs Fireplace. It was chaos. So we got a traffic control officer. And slowly, week by week, we refined the process so that we were actually getting families through their registration, their food, in about a minute. So the cars began to move more swiftly. We had a carry-out crew that would help carry the food out.
I was, but I wasn't as aware as I am now.
There's a lot more people who need food or need help than I realized.
There were cars, 2 lanes of cars lined up in the parking lot, a row of cars a half a mile down Springs Fireplace. They were here an hour before we opened. And I just thought, when is this going to end? You know, every week we were getting 30, 40, 50 more people. We'd gone from feeding 120 people, maybe 50 families, to feeding over 700 people. It physically sat with me, the desperation. And, you know, just seeing all the cars, like all these people need food, that really stayed with me.
I think the best thing is understanding a lot more about the world and knowing other people's experiences. And then the worst thing was, not being able to see people at all. So then, so it feels like you're the only person in the world.
Who came on the scene? John Bon Jovi. He has a summer house out here, and he set up a food bank at the clubhouse and began to supply us with such an abundance of dry goods that the sanctuary of the church, the pews in the church, were stacked high with everything we needed. And certain people like Jerry Larson, who was running for village mayor, ran a campaign. He has a separate business, a home security business, and he went to all his clients and said, you know, the people who work for you live in Springs and they're hungry. Let's raise some money. He raised so much money for us, and there were many individuals like Jessica Seinfeld started something called the 631 Fund. At a larger, broader level, foundations like the Long Island Community Foundation, which funds all the various not-for-profits on Long Island, they really managed to raise funds. A new group was started called All for the East End, AFTI, people who were skilled in promotion and marketing. They liaised with us every couple of weeks on Zoom, tried to find out what our needs were, how things were going.
We all want to help people. We all enjoy helping people. We care about them.
There were some people that we would deliver to every week, and there would be like 5 people that my family would specifically give food to, so we got friendly with them. Amazing, wonderful people who work hard.
They're just like us, so they're people who have lives.
We've always had a big increase in the wintertime of families, and we've always accommodated that. It's a surge in the winter, and then by July, normally this time of year, we're as few as 30 families coming each week. Last week we had 160. So it's the same curve, but it's hugely increased. And never did we think about all the people here who live, you know, basically they spend everything they earn every month on their rent, their car insurance, their phone service. They don't have a margin. What we did see is a lot of single men who had lost their jobs coming for food. Our registration, which is usually 150 families, 50 drop out every year, 50 new families sign up. We had 520 new registrations. During this time, too, there were deportations. One woman's father, she was 15 years old, was coming. Her father had been deported. They had lost the wage earner of the household. They didn't know what to do. The mother was cleaning houses. Well, she was losing her work, too, because a lot of people didn't want house cleaners in their homes. It was an expansion of what we always have had, which are minimum wage, generally unskilled laborers. We saw a lot more skilled laborers.
Melancholy.
What does that mean?
Like, sort of a mix of happy and sad.
I think of hope.
I like that.
Thank you.